You want to see this man really want me? Definitely want me, bitch.
For years, this man got on TikTok live every single day and screamed, and we do mean screamed, that he was completely, totally, 100% straight.
Straight, I'm not gay, and I'm not bi. So anybody ask them questions, you will be muted. I told y'all I don't entertain negativity no more. What y'all not getting? Do y'all think I'm playing? Ain't nobody putting nothing in me. That's a no enter zone.
And it wasn't just offensive, he was brutal about it, telling the entire LGBTQ community they were going to hell, going on rants about how God himself, specifically Jehovah, was on his side.
Stay prayed up, baby. Jehovah is going to help you.
Now keep all of that in your mind, because this same man, Toriano Arthur, a 41-year-old from North Carolina who goes by Sincere online and performs as a character called Amoy the Goddess, or Amoy, came out as bisexual on a Pride Month live.
Thank y'all. Me and my mommy out. Love y'all. Appreciate all the support. All the support. Happy LGBT month. Happy LGBTQ month. Happy Pride Month. I'm bisexual.
And before anyone even had time to process that, he came out as trans.
If I say I'm trans now, I'm transitioning trans, or whatever I say out my mouth, that means I'm trans. What the f y'all supposed to do about it?
Now at this point you might be thinking, okay, this is messy and hypocritical, but it's also kind of funny. Just another chaotic internet personality who does not know who they are. Entertaining in that watching a car crash kind of way. And honestly, if that was all there was to Amoy, we probably wouldn't be here today. This man also has a severely autistic adult son named Jallen, a young man who requires a caregiver, and by every account from people who know him, does not have the cognitive ability to process the world the way most adults do. Amoy Arthur would perform and do his drag stuff with Jallen right there in the room watching. People even started speculating that he, we mean Amoy, was SAing his own son. This is the same man who missed that same son's graduation and owes that boy years of back child support. The same man who's not even in the hospital the night his son was born while the child's mother was alone fighting for both of their lives.
Because to deal with a baby daddy like Toriano Amoy, I'm surprised why you ain't on crack yet. I know what you went through. I am proud of you for not only going through the pregnancy to give birth to your child, but to sit there and parent an autistic child every day.
And then there is Jamie.
Jamie is out here homeless. He ain't going on nobody's podcast. He's around these streets homeless, baby.
A name that people who knew Amoy Arthur long before any of this, before the wigs, the accent, TikTok, any persona, have never stopped talking about. A name tied to allegations so dark that they reframe everything else you've just watched. And a name that Amoy himself, when pressed about it, responds to with nothing but contempt. We're talking about grooming, talks of HIV infections, even sexual assault. This man has been doing the same thing his entire life, performing, lying, moving on, and expecting the world to forget, expecting that if he creates enough chaos, enough personas, enough new drama, nobody will look back far enough to see where it all started. Now ask the question, who is Amoy the Goddess? And how did someone this dangerous stay hidden in plain sight for so long? How does a man with a trail of destruction spanning decades build an audience of thousands who watch him every single day? Now let's start with the controversy that has followed Amoy Arthur longer than any persona he has ever built, because this one goes all the way back to before the internet even knew his name, back to a small town in North Carolina called Jamesville, where everybody knows everybody's business, and secrets don't stay buried for long, except this one did for years. And the reason it stayed buried is because the people involved were too young and too afraid to speak up until it was far too late to do anything about it.
Lusty says he's still cool with Jamie after grooming and turning him out.
Jamie moved on with his life, found a girl, and moved on with his life, and we still cool. That's what y'all didn't know. So that's what made y'all the jackass when y'all came fishing and digging. But posting his history and what he done and his charges, that ain't got nothing
The allegations center around a boy named Jamie, and the timeline goes back to around 1998 when Amoy Arthur was about 14 years old and living in Jamesville, which is a farming community in Martin County. It was in this environment that Amoy met Jamie, who's younger, and who came from what people describe as an unstable home situation with no strong father figure and a mother who was struggling to keep things together, which made him exactly the kind of kid who would be looking for someone who seemed like they had their life figured out, or a big brother type who could show him how to navigate the world. According to this story, allegedly, Amoy positioned himself as exactly that person, showing up at Jamie's house constantly, hanging out with him every single day, and over time, the relationship evolved into something that nobody wanted to call what it actually was, because these were two people from the same small town, and people convinced themselves it was just friendship or experimentation or something that would pass. But it didn't pass, it got worse. The reason it got worse is because Amoy wasn't just involved with Jamie, he was allegedly also sleeping with Jamie's mother at the same time, which gave him access to the house whenever he wanted, gave him cover for why he was always there, and gave him control over both of them in a way that nobody on the outside fully understood until it was already too late to intervene. People who knew Jamie back then describe him as someone who is searching for stability, for a role model, for someone who could show him how to be a man in a world that hadn't given him many examples. And Amoy saw that vulnerability and used it, not once but repeatedly over the course of years. Because this relationship didn't end when they were teenagers, it continued well into the 2000s, long after Amoy had moved away from Jamesville, long after they should have gone their separate ways and moved on with their lives, but they didn't because Amoy kept coming back, kept pulling Jamie back in, kept maintaining that connection in a way that people who witnessed it describe as obsessive and destructive. By the time we get to 2013, Amoy is 29 years old and Jamie is somewhere in his late 20s, and something allegedly happens between them that nobody has full details on, but that ends with Amoy filing criminal charges against Jamie, specifically assault with a deadly weapon and injury to personal property, which suggests some kind of physical altercation or confrontation that escalated to the point where police got involved and charges were filed. The case actually went to court, where both charges were eventually dropped and Jamie was found not guilty.
Why did Jamie beat up him? Maybe because of that mouth, that long mouth, that mouth he got.
Okay.
It wasn't no he SA'd him and he wanted his lick back. It was a lover's quarrel.
But the absolute darkest part of this story starts coming out. Not all at once, but gradually over the course of multiple TikTok panels and Reddit threads and conversations between people who knew both of them back in Jamesville. What emerged is the allegation that Amoy, at some point during their years-long relationship, Amoy knowingly or recklessly exposed Jamie to HIV, and that when Jamie found out, he tried to kill himself. The exact details of the suicide attempt remain unknown, whether it involved pills or another method. Rumors allege the attempt was directly linked to discovering his HIV diagnosis. He survived, but was allegedly never the same afterward. So what does Amoy say when Jamie's name comes up? Does he explain what actually happened between them? Does he express any kind of concern or remorse or even basic human decency towards someone he was allegedly close to for years? Does he acknowledge that this person exists and that their life was impacted by knowing him?
Jamie is out here homeless. He ain't going on nobody's podcast. He's around these streets homeless, baby. And I really don't care if he going to podcast or not. I really don't. They don't be knowing what the fuck they talking about. They don't even know that boy around here homeless. He do crack and all of that now.
That was his response. The man who allegedly groomed him as a teenager, who allegedly gave him HIV, who pressed criminal charges against him after their relationship fell apart. When Jamie's name surfaces anywhere in his vicinity, his first instinct is not to defend himself or clarify the record, but to announce to the entire internet that Jamie is homeless and on crack. However, there is one more piece to this. One more thing Amoy said on a live stream when he was angry and not thinking clearly about how it would sound. Someone was pressing him about all the allegations, the names from his past, and the people who keep coming forward with stories about him. Instead of denying anything or explaining his side, he said something that revealed exactly how he thinks about trauma and accountability. He said,
Jamesville. So stop putting out lies about me, baby. Because I can put out the truth about people's parents that raped me in Jamesville. My motherfucking life. Y'all can open cans up that can really score and hurt somebody. Y'all need to stop digging. Ain't nobody personal life, none of y'all fucking business.
At first, that might sound like he's admitting to his own trauma, like he's revealing something painful from his past. But listen to how he's using it. That sounds more like a threat than a confession. He's not saying, I went through something terrible and it affected me. He's saying, if you keep talking about what I did, I'll start talking about what other people did, thereby weaponizing trauma, his own or someone else's, doesn't even matter which, and using it as leverage to make people shut up. So if Jamie's story is where the damage started, then the question we need to answer next is who Amoy actually is when you strip away every character he's built to become one of the most exhausting personalities the internet has ever had to deal with. After everything that happened in Jamesville during his teenage years, with Jamie and the fallout that came with it, Amoy left when he was about 15 years old, still in 10th grade, and the first place he ended up was Virginia, doing odd jobs for cash tips. While there's no confirmed city or specific address that pins him to one location during this time, it's clear that this was his escape phase from the whole Jamie drama and all of that. By the early 2000s, he circled back to North Carolina, but not to Jamesville, instead settling near Greenville and Pitt and Martin counties. Throughout the 2010s and into the present day, this is where Amoy has stayed, locked into a Section 8 apartment. His real name is Toriano Arthur, but most of his followers don't know that, and the reason they don't know is because he buried it so deep under layers of personas and aliases that by the time people started paying attention to him, he was already going by something else. Specifically, he was going by Sincere. This is the name he uses online. The name tattooed across his chest in bold black Gothic script about 4 inches wide, arching directly over his upper pectoralis. Visible every time he goes on live shirtless or in a tank top, and he flashes it defensively whenever anyone questions his identity. The Sincere identity emerged around late 2021 as his authentic male alias before the Amoy persona fully exploded. The way he deployed it was by positioning Sincere as Amoy's straight baby daddy in skits, creating this fictional dynamic where Sincere was the masculine counterpart to Amoy's hyper-femininity. Around mid-2022, Amoy launched his TikTok account under the handle @AmoyTheGoddess, and the content he started posting was not polished drag or professional performance art. It was raw, aggressive, hyper-feminine rants filmed in his Section 8 apartment wearing dollar store wigs and makeup and hot pants. His early videos were 15 to 60 seconds long and featured him doing mundane things like smacking his lips at the camera in what he probably thought was ASMR but came across as deliberately obnoxious. Also doing his beauty walks where he would twerk to Nicki Minaj songs in his tiny living room. But the contest that really got him attention was when he started filming himself entering women's restrooms at Walmart and Dollar General while dressed as Amoy. The early reactions to his content were confusion more than anything else. People trying to figure out if this was a straight guy in a dress, or a gay man doing drag, or someone genuinely transitioning because he was not explaining himself. Amoy was just showing up every day in a full feminine presentation while screaming about how straight he was. And this confusion is exactly what he wanted because it kept people watching. By August of 2022, he had troll pages and snark subreddits dedicated entirely to tracking his chaos, and that hate-watching demographic became the foundation of everything he built afterward. Now we need to talk about the accent, because from day one of his TikTok presence, Amoy has been performing with a thick Jamaican patois that he deploys whenever he's in character as Amoy. Now this accent is complete fabrication, because he has no Jamaican heritage whatsoever. Amoy was born in North Carolina. His family line is local. Genealogy trolls have confirmed that Arthur lineage has no connection to Jamaica or the Caribbean in any way. And yet he speaks in this slurred mishmash of what he thinks Jamaican patois sounds like, constantly butchering the slang so badly that actually Jamaican people immediately clocked it as fake.
What I say?
So many people in his comments have laughed and even called out his lies, and Amoy has angrily even addressed it multiple times.
Nothing y'all say could take the Jamaican out of my blood. Y'all do know that, right?
Yeah, Jamaican through my bloodline, and I can't see how the fools can't tell because Jamaicans don't like f***ery.
And if you know anything about Jamaican, that's how you know I'm part Jamaican, because I crashed out on fuckery.
And speaking of fabrications, Amoy doesn't just lie about his accent, he lies about his birthday. Specifically, he's assigned 3 different birthdays to 3 different versions of himself. Now if this wasn't a mistake or confusion, it's intentional. Amoy's real birthday, in his words, is February 2nd. Sometimes he says July, according to the comments on live streams. With him, you just don't know what to expect.
My birthday is February the 2nd.
When he was asked the reason for the constant changes, here's what he had to say.
We separate the 2 birthdays. I done explained that. I ain't got to keep explaining it to nobody. What's understood don't have to be explained no more.
Bro doesn't even want to explain. So yes, this leaves the question of his actual birthday with question marks. Now the question becomes, who did he use to hold all of this together? A man who screams every day that he's straight while performing in drag and entering women's bathrooms and creating characters where he argues with himself needs cover, specifically women who he cycled through one after another, using them to maintain the illusion that he was exactly what he said he was, and then discarding them the moment that illusion started to crack. The first woman we need to talk about is Mimi. Her story is important because it happened way before Amoy had an audience of thousands watching his every move, back when he was still primarily going by Sincere or Amoy. They met around late 2020 through local Facebook circles in Greenville and Beaufort County. Amoy was 36 years old at the time, and Mimi was a woman in her mid-30s who worked retail or fast food. She was drawn to what Amoy presented himself as in those early days, which was a struggling single guy with potential. Also as someone who seemed charming and attentive in the beginning, and that beginning is always the part that gets them, because he knows how to love bomb, how to make someone feel seen and special and needed. The relationship lasted 18 months, which makes it his longest documented relationship in the modern era, running from late 2020 until mid-2021. And during that time, Mimi essentially supported him. She allegedly shared the lease informally. He added her to the utilities for appearance's sake. She funded groceries and bills, and even his early wigs and makeup purchases, buying things he claimed were for jokes or skits or just trying something new. And he contributed sporadic cash and nothing else except constant mood swings. But the incident that shattered everything happened one weekend in early 2021 when Mimi was working a double shift. The landlord sent her a text message with a photo attached, and the photo showed Amoy inside their apartment, fully dressed as Amoy, wearing a cheap wig and garish makeup and a tight dress and heels, posing in her mirror taking selfies. And the reason the landlord even saw this was because Amoy had pried open the apartment window with a screwdriver to sneak back in after a night out, not realizing the landlord was doing maintenance rounds and would walk past and see him through the broken window frame. Mimi left work immediately, raced home in the middle of her shift. When she walked into that apartment and saw him there, still half in costume, she lost it, screaming at him, asking who the hell this was, why he was dressed like this in her house, and he literally ran out of the apartment half-dressed. Later, when she finally got him on the phone, he tried to gaslight her. He told her it was a neighbor's prank, but by that point, she had already found blonde hairs that weren't hers, lipstick smears on towels, a hidden makeup bag stuffed under the bed. She realized that this had been going on for months. He'd been doing this the entire time they were together, sneaking around behind her back and using her money to fund his secret life as Amoy. The actual breakup allegedly unfolded in a sequence detailed during a 2025 TikTok panel interview. She reportedly stormed into the apartment after the landlord sent that photo, keys jangling, screaming that she was done. He allegedly snatched the keys from her hand and called her mother on speakerphone right there in front of her. According to the account, when she tried to grab the phone back, he grabbed her hair and they scuffled. She slapped him and fled the apartment crying. By the time she returned with her mother to retrieve her belongings, he had allegedly already changed the locks and kept all her furniture and her TV. The second woman we need to talk about is Kim. Her story is different from Mimi's because by the time Kim entered the picture in mid-2022, Amoy was already on TikTok and starting to gain traction. He approached the relationship with her differently, not as something real, but as something transactional that he could turn into content. And the twisted part is that Kim knew this was going on and agreed to it anyway because he allegedly offered her money and exposure. But what she didn't know was how dark it would get and how completely he would humiliate her once it served his purposes. They reportedly met through Facebook DMs. He was going by Sincere at the time and messaged her with his usual pitch, playing the struggling single dad who just needed love. And Kim was in her mid-30s, worked as a nail tech and sold cosmetics in Pitt County, and she bit. She started funding dates within weeks, and the relationship lasted about 6 months from the summer to fall of 2022, which was right at the peak of his TikTok rise. The arrangement was that she would appear on his live streams as his fake fiancé, cuddling with him, cooking for him, playing the role of the supportive girlfriend, and he would pay her $100 per episode. And she agreed because she thought it would be good exposure for her business. The pair took trips together, including a weekend in Myrtle Beach where Kim reportedly paid $400 for the hotel and Airbnb. A fake engagement party at a local bar was allegedly catered by Kim herself. Perhaps most absurd was the ring, an $800 cubic zirconia from Zales that Kim reportedly purchased herself after Amoy claimed he was saving up for it. The entire arrangement was a performance, content, fake from the beginning. But then things got darker. Amoy allegedly suspected Kim was sleeping with someone else. Not cheating in the relationship sense, since the relationship wasn't real, but keeping him in the dark about her personal life. That someone was Javante, a gay or bisexual stylist who worked at Kim's salon. Rather than confronting Kim directly, Amoy allegedly went to Walmart, bought a nanny cam, and installed it in their bedroom, hidden in the smoke detector. In September of 2022, that camera allegedly captured a full 20-minute sex tape of Javante and Kim together, explicit footage that Amoy then reportedly used as leverage. During a live stream, Amoy confronted Kim with the recording, screen sharing blurry stills from the video to his entire audience. Amoy threatened to post the full tape if Kim didn't return the ring and admit that the pregnancy announcement made weeks earlier was fake, which it was, since the pregnancy was part of the skit. But Amoy framed the situation as if Kim had deceived him personally, as if he was the victim of her manipulation. In reality, Amoy had hired Kim to play a role, then violated her privacy by secretly recording her having sex and threatening to distribute revenge porn if she didn't comply with his demands. Then he comes on TikTok Live to do this.
Let me handle my hurt and what I'm going through by myself without y'all. Let me do that, please. I don't know a person that would fake their life, a life that they want. So please let me hurt and let me out of my hurt and peace. Let me enjoy my vacation.
Kim disappeared from Amoy's content after that incident and ghosted him completely. In 2023, Kim came forward on Reddit with text message screenshots, calling Amoy a psycho and confirming she'd been paid for the skits. Kim stated that Amoy had used her for an $800 ring and clout, then tried to destroy her reputation when she stopped playing along. On multiple live streams, Amoy had very serious claims. For one, he mentioned that Kim had been going around telling people that he had HIV, and also that he shot his dog in the head.
She told them that I have HIV and I don't. She told them that I shot my dog in the head.
In one hilarious turn of events, Amoy went on a live stream and called the police to report his ex for everything she had allegedly done. Like he was dead serious, as he filed a complaint about Kim, detailing every alleged offense while his audience watched in real time.
I get bullied and harassed online daily, and I don't know what to do about it. I don't mess with nobody since I blew up in the internet world. These people keep harassing and bullying me, putting lies out on my name, and now I'm trying to figure out what do I do about it. Because she just put out that I have HIV, and I do not have HIV. She said I shot my dog in the head, and my dog is still living. She on live right now putting out... Yes, ma'am.
What's your address so I can get you over to the correct?
My brother's to my house. She called the cops to my house. She on live right now, still lying on my name. She telling these people that I was in the hospital because my butt was leaking. Dudes hitting me from the back and all of that, and this woman was laying with me. And she's online lying on my name.
All right, did you need anything else from me?
No, I just want to make sure y'all took note on it in case something else go on.
Okay, we'll call us back if you need us, okay?
All right.
Judging from the confessions on that live stream, it seems Kim herself was having a time of her life messaging with Amoy the Goddess, and this was frustrating. Or maybe, just maybe, this was just another form of content. We never know. Well, after that, it looked like Amoy and Kim solved their issues, because after that crazy back and forth, they both showed on camera together.
Now we all about to go
out to eat. Let's go get something to eat.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, who would ever take those two seriously? Moving to the third woman, Chyna. Her story is shorter, but in some ways more calculated. Chyna allegedly went into this knowing exactly who Amoy was. She was what the internet would call an undercover troll, someone who pretended to be a fan and started a relationship with him specifically to gather dirt and expose him later. Whether that's morally right or wrong is debatable, but what it reveals is significant. By late 2022, when the pair reportedly met, Amoy's reputation was already bad enough that someone would go to those lengths just to prove what everyone already suspected. The two allegedly met through TikTok DMs. She was in her late 20s and worked a service industry job. After commenting on one of Amoy's split miniseries episodes, Amoy allegedly took the bait, thinking Chyna was genuinely interested. The pair reportedly dated for about 4 months through the first quarter of 2023. According to accounts, the entire time Chyna was trolling him, sending fake flirty texts while screenshotting everything Amoy said. Chyna allegedly documented the boys' nights where Amoy sent her home and the apartment reportedly smelled like when she returned. She allegedly documented the mood flips, the fights about wigs, and the moments where the Amoy persona bled into their private conversations. When Chyna reportedly had enough material, she allegedly text dumped him. Chyna reportedly leaked all the receipts on a panel, explaining that she had been trolling from day one specifically to get real dirt on Amoy. Of course, Amoy allegedly went on live and ranted about it.
How about Chyna inboxed me, and I'm just now seeing that she inboxed me on Instagram Monday, saying that she all the way in Dominican Republic living her life, and I'm talking about her. Are you cool? And she sent me the screenshot of Funny Vibes screen recording me and got on her page and saying that I was talking about Chyna. Now, was we talking about Chyna? So I inboxed her back. I said, me making our story an example of what somebody came in my live and said, and me telling them they could catch a felony even if that was true. You can't go around exposing nobody body parts, videos, or none of that. It's a felony. I said, so me using our story is not talking about you, love. I said, but they did come under my live 3 weeks ago and told me that you were still speaking on my name under troll pages. So I guess they trying to start beef with me and Chyna again. And y'all remember when they came in and said that? Because I said I thought me and Chyna were cool. I thought we squashed that and I brushed it off my shoulder. Y'all remember because I was Amoy that day. And I said I thought me and Chyna were cool and I brushed it off my shoulder.
And then there's Ye, who may or may not actually exist. Starting in mid-2023, Amoy began mentioning a girlfriend named Ye on his live streams. Every single time he does this, there's always dead silence. Not once in over a year of claiming to have this girlfriend has anyone ever heard her voice, seen her face, or been given any proof that she exists beyond his word. Trolls have started calling her yet another yawn because the whole thing is so transparently fake, it's not even entertaining anymore. It's just sad and, we dare say, quite hilarious.
I'm not moving from my Ye. Sabrina is in her room sleep.
The women all confirmed the same pattern, being used for money, stability, and the appearance of heterosexuality before being publicly discarded and smeared. But the women were only half of the story. A man who spends every day screaming that he's straight while performing in drag needs more than just girlfriends to maintain the illusion. He needs men in his content just as much. Those men have stories too. It's something that kind of mirrors exactly what happened with Jamie decades earlier. The first man we need to talk about is someone known as Cuz Bay. Nobody has doxed his real name, but trolls speculate it might be Jay or Lil Bay. He was a local from eastern North Carolina, probably in his mid-20s, and appeared in Amoy's content for about 2 months in late 2022. Amoy introduced him as his cousin or roommate, framing him as just someone crashing at his place temporarily, someone helping him with cooking content. But the dynamic between them and the way Amoy talked about him on live suggested something more. The thing people remember most about Cuz Bay is the daily cooking routine that Amoy documented obsessively on live streams. But what people also noticed during those lives was that on 4 or 5 separate occasions, Cuz Bay would come back from what Amoy called a bathroom break with what some viewers claimed looked like white powdery residue around his upper lip and nostrils. His eyes would reportedly be jittery, and he would allegedly be more energetic and talkative than before the break. Whether any substance use was actually occurring remains unconfirmed. Around the same time, rumors began circulating that Amoy was allegedly cheating on Cuz Bay, though the details and validity of these claims remain unclear. After a while, rumors were flying that Cuz Bay had been arrested, though the specifics of what happened remain uncertain. What is certain is that Cuz Bay vanished from Amoy's content completely. He stopped appearing on live streams and was not mentioned again. Perhaps the man who dominates this entire story, the one whose story is the most recent, the most catastrophic, and the most public, is James. Understanding what allegedly happened with James requires walking through the timeline step by step because it moved fast and reportedly ended with James being outed publicly, losing his family, and becoming completely dependent on Amoy in a way that allegedly mirrors the kind of control and manipulation that destroyed Jamie decades earlier. The two allegedly met in TikTok DM. Amoy approached him and flirted with him, and within days, James was appearing on Amoy's live stream, being introduced as "My New Man James," with captions about finding his soulmate fast.
He here because he do work and he stayed in another city, not too far from me. So we're in my city. Y'all already know he stay in Virginia. So he be back and forth when he's not working and you know, spending time with me and stuff when he's not working, and mainly the weekends and sometimes during the week if he's off. But I am bringing.
Less than 5 weeks after they met, the pair were both sitting on Tasha K's podcast doing a full hour-long interview, and what they spilled, especially Amoy, was quite confusing and funny at the same time.
So y'all met in the DM?
Say what?
Y'all met in the DM?
Yes, and I went in his DM. I initiated it off. He was in my DM and I went in his, initiated it off. So that's how it happened.
And both of y'all were straight while y'all were conversing.
No, I wasn't no more. I was already this. I came out to them, I want to say about 2 or 3 months ago. I finally came out and told them that I was bisexual.
Okay. And so, James, are you bisexual or are you just gay now?
I still consider myself straight. This is the first time I've ever done anything like this. This is a whole new lifestyle for me.
And it's new for me. He's the first man I've been with. But the internet, they think they like, just like you, they think because they watch our entertainment, they know I like.
But there was a problem. James had an ex-wife named Kara. When Kara saw James appearing in Amoy's TikToks, publicly claiming to be in a relationship with him, they had one hell of a back and forth.
I don't care about whatever the fuck is going on. That shit don't mean nothing to me.
You shouldn't care what the fuck is going on. You shouldn't care.
I'm talking about all this social media bullshit. What I'm saying is, if he's telling you that he still cares about these kids or whatever he's telling you about them, he should have had a conversation with them.
You keep bringing it up, baby, and I told you we done got over that.
That's all I care about. I don't care about
we done talked about that, but you keep bringing it up. Like,
no,
we
you
done
told
talked
me
about
you
that.
told me I could have the floor, so I'm happy.
Yeah, but I'm saying you keep bringing it up like you trying to stress that to these trolls, and we done got over that, and you said that you. But baby, you said you understood why he said what he did too. So you keep bringing that up like it's an issue. Go ahead, mommy. Go ahead.
When I got on live yesterday, I told them that I talked to you for 40 minutes. I told them that. I didn't lie about that. I told them that me and you talked. I told them that you apologized to me and my kids. I told them all of that.
Yeah, I said because James had nothing to do with it. So if you want to put it on somebody, put it on me. Because I said I didn't have to show a clip. But I got a right to post my man.
You do.
I don't ask them to go troll me and do what they did to make this situation.
Now,
like everybody said, my supporters said, I have a right to post who I'm with like anybody else. Nobody don't ask nobody to go troll and do what they do. So like I told you, I apologize for making that door open for them to go do that. But I shouldn't have to hide who I talk to.
No, you don't.
Just because they're going to go troll or investigate.
Let me say this. You don't got to hide who you talk to because that's not fair to you. You should be able to post your nigga all over everywhere if that's what you want to do. My thing is, if James is saying he cares about the kids, I just wish he would have talked to them first.
They didn't give him time. The trolls didn't give him time.
So here's the thing. While James was living with Amoy, he allegedly kept bragging about their relationship on social media. In the process, he seemingly forgot about his ex-wife's children, posting photos of them on Facebook without permission. His ex-wife was allegedly forced to reach out to Amoy directly, asking him to have James take the posts down. Eventually, his ex-wife took to her own live stream and explained the entire situation.
And I see y'all comments saying Amoy is the drama, Amoy is the problem. You know what I'm saying? All that, but I don't know Amoy. I don't know him. All I know is he was talking about me on the motherfucking internet, and he's a grown-ass man. And I don't beef with grown-ass men. I got grown-ass men in my life for shit like that. I don't beef with niggas. I got niggas for niggas. So Amoy need to keep my name out of his mouth too, because I don't bother James at all. I'm not a thorn in nobody's side. I don't want him at all. I'm not bitter about shit. I don't give a fuck. We both like the same thing. We can high five and wear makeup and shit together and clothes and shoes. Y'all know I love me some good clothes. Me and James can share clothes and shit if that's how this shit gonna go. I don't care if he gay. I just care that he put me in the midst of this shit. Me and my children. Me and my children. So I'm trying to save face when they bringing me shit like, look, ma, oh, look. I'm trying to be like, oh yeah, I already know. It don't matter, y'all. Don't worry about that. That shit. Doing all that. I'm doing the motherfucking damage control for a situation that you create. You ain't think enough of us one time to be like, chill on Markara and her kids. Shit crazy. I see somebody said this could have been avoided if he didn't show James on the live. James told him he could show him.
All of the men who entered Toriano's orbit either ran, were forced out, or became trapped in dependency. All of the women were used, discarded, and publicly smeared. But none of that chaos touches the oldest wound in this entire story. The one that's been sitting in Toriano's apartment for years, watching everything happen, unable to fully comprehend what he's seeing, unable to advocate for himself, unable to leave. That wound is his son Jallen, a severely autistic young man who by every account requires full-time care and supervision. Understanding how Amoy treats his own child tells you everything you need to know about who this man actually is when the cameras are off. The personas drop and there's nobody left to perform for. The story that's been documented and preserved across multiple sources is that Jallen was born prematurely in 2005 after a pregnancy complicated by severe preeclampsia that required an emergency C-section. The baby spent the first 3.5 months of his life in the NICU, fighting to survive while hooked up to tubes and machines. According to accounts that have circulated publicly, Amoy was not present for the birth, did not visit the hospital, and did not call to check on whether his son would live or die. When this had been brought up over the years, his explanation on his own lives has been that his baby mama's family hated him, so he stayed away for peace. He framed his absence as a decision made for everyone's benefit rather than what it actually was, abandonment from day one. Jallen is now in his early 20s and is severely autistic, requiring significant support and supervision in his daily life. Amoy has allegedly never taken responsibility for his son's condition or his son's needs. Instead, he has spent years on live streams blaming Jallen's mother for everything. During one particular rant in early 2025, Amoy allegedly said on live that his baby mama smoked and drank during the entire pregnancy, and that's why Jallen turned out the way he did. He said she kept smoking and drinking after he told her to stop, and now look at the result. He has repeated this theory on multiple lives as if it established medical fact, positioning himself as the real victim in this situation.
Started some shit with my baby mom, and she want to start running her mouth not to sit up here. And I said, these hoes making themselves look stupid. These people sit here and watch her on video. Tell these people. No, I ain't even going to talk about it, because real people watch me, and they see it live. They see it all these fucking live. I ain't even going to talk about it. I'm going to let y'all hoes keep making y'all look crazy. Like, she must forgot she came on Vigo last year and was cursing these trolls out and clearing up shit. She must forgot about that and telling the trolls to keep her son name out their mouth. Now you sitting up here talking with her. Like, girl, you weird as hell.
He completely ignored the actual science and the actual reality that he has allegedly contributed almost nothing to his son's life, beyond occasional appearances on camera and a lot of excuses about why he cannot do more.
This video is for Miss Tracy Smith, the mother of Amoy Lee, Tyranio Arthur's son. This video's for you. If you're not Miss Tracy Smith, you can continue to keep strolling. If you are, this video's for you, and I just want you to watch it through. I want you to know that I don't give a fuck if you smoked a pack of cigarettes a day for the rest of your entire life. I want you to know that I don't care if you drunk a beer twice a day for the rest of your entire life. I want you to know that I don't care if you had some struggles up along the way, up and down, back and forth, to and fro. Because to deal with a baby daddy like Toriano, Amoy Lee, I'm surprised why you ain't on crack yet.
Now, there is a moment in Amoy's documented history with Jallen that is so disturbing, so far beyond what any reasonable person would consider acceptable parenting. People genuinely thought they had to be edited or taken out of context, but they were not. This allegedly happened during a live stream in the summer of 2024. He was in full Amoy drag. Jallen was visible in the background, sitting on the couch, staring blankly ahead the way he often does. Someone in a chat accused Toriano of exposing his son to inappropriate content. Instead of getting defensive or ending the live or acknowledging that maybe performing sexually in front of his disabled son was not appropriate, Toriano turned it into what he seemed to think was a defense of his open and honest parenting style. He said that he performs in full drag with Jallen right there watching, that Jallen loves the show. Then he said that sometimes Jallen gets a little excited down there, referring to his son allegedly becoming sexually aroused while watching him perform. Then he described what he does when this happens. The reaction in the chat was immediate madness. People typed with rage, asking what was wrong with him, demanding that someone call Child Protective Services, telling him that this was his son and this was not normal behavior, not normal parenting, not something you admit publicly or privately. Amoy has addressed his haters and has told everyone countlessly that he loves his son. So apparently he wants the people of the internet to mind their business.
Oh, you might have did something with that color. Yeah, that's my baby Jallen. That's my boy. That would be T. Oh, do baby. And like I say, I think Jallen would be calling me or wanting to see me. It's her. Like I say, y'all don't know. She sits over there live. I think Jallen probably do be asking about me or be wanting to call me. She's not letting him though. That's how I feel about the situation. Cause my son know I love him and my son love me. Y'all watch me with him, getting him every weekend. The real ones, y'all watch my lives, me feeding him, cutting his hair, taking him shopping. Y'all watch me. So I know my son probably asking about me. I think it's her. It's her. I think he probably asking to call me and all of that. It's her. My son know I love him and my son love me. I think it's her. No, I haven't even heard from my son since August of last year. Yes, he is. Jallen can talk. I know Jallen probably be asking about me. It's her.
So here we are. Toriano Arthur, Sincere, Amoy the Goddess. 3 names for one person who has spent his entire adult life refusing to be held accountable for anything he has ever done to anyone. The woman he used and discarded. The men he outed. His own disabled son who he allegedly performs sexually in front of and blames for his own condition. Jamie, the boy from Jamesville, who this entire story started with, who allegedly tried to kill himself after everything that was done to him, who's reportedly homeless and struggling with addiction, while Toriano goes live every single day and pretends none of it ever happened. What we're watching is not just a messy internet personality, but a person who understood very early that chaos is protection. Be loud enough, confrontational enough, constantly generate new drama, and people are too busy watching the latest fire to look at what burned before it.
Baby, no one else can do what you're doing to me.